What's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again to the Growth Network, where we grassroots our wealth, tradition, and heritage. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe, hit that notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to be notified, man. Today, fellas, how many of y'all, growing up, like the girl, might be dating a girl, come to find out she might be, messing around and dealing with another dude or so. And so, y'all break up, it's over with. You move on, you grow up, and, no problems. You might even run into the girl, might wave at her, might run to the dude, one of the dudes she messed with, might talk to him, give him a dap, say what's going on, this and the third, and y'all keep it moving. I mean, do we hold grudges like that as men? Is anybody? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. The reason why I asked that is because I came across a story a couple of days back, and I felt I had to address it. In this story, and I quote, states, "My mother's former rival questioned her about the man they both dated in the 1960s. Dude, it is 2022. We're talking about something that happened 60 years ago. Now, I'm not 60 years ago. Let me think back. In relationships I done had, I can't think. Any relationship I had, I hold no grudges, no animosity toward nobody. Now, I could think like, hey, we went through this, it was jacked up, I'm not gonna put myself through it again, but I ain't got no hatred for you. It's like, cause I move on, I get better, I grow, I got my own life to live. I can't dwell on past things. Do you think about stuff? Yeah, you think about stuff. You're human. You think about things that happened. How it could have been, Then you think about, maybe, because to me it's like, hey, it was a blessing that it happened a certain way. So I learn from it, move on, and I grow from it. But this here, but let's read the story. This is from the medium.com. And again, it says, before my mother began dating my father, she dated this other fella. So this woman that moved on, had a family, but not her. Talk about other. Here we go. A decade ago, my mother and I visited a local pumpkin patch and vegetable stand. You're talking about that a decade ago, so 2010 maybe. The owner of the business was a woman with whom my mother had something in common. They both dated the same man in the 60s. Before my mother began dating my father, she dated this other fellow. How do you know that? That's what your mama told you? Anyway, just messing with you. She was deeply in love with him, but something went wrong, as things often do, and they broke up. It wasn't a clean break. My mother found herself one of several young women, neighborhood women, in heavy rotation with this one young man. Yeah, it happens, She liked it, people cheat. It happened. The proprietor of the local pumpkin patch and vegetable stand was another. My mother had been avoiding the business for years, decades even. She knew exactly who owned it, and she wanted nothing to do with the woman. Now let's say if I did have an enemy. Let's say somebody that didn't get along with or I didn't like. Yeah, I will probably do what I can to avoid dealing with people in your everyday life, because you don't know what's gonna pop out. I can say recently someone said, told me that who don't know how I grew up, where I grew up, or anything. They said something to me about, you can, fuss. Let's say fuss at kids, or you fuss at a woman or whatever. This that there, but like I ain't never seen you, jumping at no man's throat or nothing like that. I said think about, well, first of all, when men get older, because when I start talking to people, first of all, I don't initially fuss, holler. Cause I try to, matter of fact, I try not to curse. I try not to fuss and holler. I try to, maintain a cool head, because we don't want it to get to the next level. We don't want to hulk out as men do. Second of all, you're not going to see me interact with people that I don't like, especially on a daily basis, on a business level, personal level, at all. You're going to see me hang around family, friends, people I can get along with, people I can trust. I'm not going to go out. This is one reason why, when I got older and I moved away from my neighborhood, what I'm saying, I was able to, when I had, when we were about to have kids and family, the best thing for me to do was to move out of where I grew up at. Now, if it was just me and I was single back then, I had no reason to move. I do what I do. And grow up and let that be the reason. But like I say, as you get family and you get older and you get wiser, you start to put your feelings, your emotions outside, away from things. Think about your kids, you think about your family, what have you. So my point is that the reason why, let's say, most men, we know how to talk to each other. We're gonna have a mature conversation. It's not gonna be a whole lot of yelling, at least for me. A lot of cussing. It's gonna be some talking. And if we feel that we can't hash things out or work things out, we're just gonna separate. Now there'll be times where people like to fight. You know what I'm saying? You might have to go to that other level because the other person won't back down. The other person is too emotional. But for the most part, as men, grown men, mature men, we'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. We may have an argument, a disagreement, but then we move on, because once we figure out it's not going the right way, we're just gonna keep it stepping. We're not gonna. We'll avoid each other, and if we see each other, we ain't gotta acknowledge each other. That's some stuff we did when we was teenagers, maybe even early 20s for some of us that remain to be ignorant or stuck in our childhood ways. Let's say as a child, I played as a child, thought I was a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. You gotta do better in life. Like I say, if something happens that pops off and it needs to happen, it's gonna happen. But to sit there and to engage with someone and to hold animosity and to look for someone to battle with something that happened decades ago is retarded. It really is. I mean, case in point, look at the Master P and Baby situation with Cash Money No Limit. All the artists, everybody involved, said that it had to be something between them two guys because they didn't work together. As artists, we really wasn't allowed to work with these other artists, but we all grew up together. But bosses gonna be bosses. Gonna be like, nah, we ain't doing business with them. That's just it. You ain't never heard Master P and Baby fight, shoot it out. It's just, all that kind of stuff. They did their thing and made their money and kept it moving. Because that's what business, that's what grown, mature men do. Just keep it moving. But anyway, let me get back to the story. I'm getting all off topic. Let's say by my mother's own admission, she was jealous. Okay, my mother had been avoiding this business for years, decades even. She knew exactly who owned it and she wanted nothing to do with the woman. By my mother's own admission, she was jealous. While I don't know all the details of that love triangle, that's what I'm saying. I try to put stuff out, but you don't want to put everything out. Or you put just enough that people would think, but in question. But you don't give people the detail. While I don't know all the details of the love triangle, which was more like a polygon, the other woman may have had the last laugh. That's why my mother found her so distasteful. Neither my mother nor the owner of the pumpkin patch and vegetable stand won his love in the end. He married another woman, and it was a situation of one and done. My mother's first love and his only bride got married and stayed married. They're married till this day. That brings us back to the pumpkin patch. Now you got a guy who, like I say, men move on. Brother got married and still married. And you talk about 50, this was a decade ago, 50 years after the incident. Come on, y'all. This brings us back to the pumpkin patch. Now you got two. Oh yeah, I got a story for you. We set out to purchase a dozen ears of corn, and unfortunately, the local farm where we usually bought our seasonal produce was closed. Side note: hit your farm. That's what you need to do. Grow, like I said, growing fruits and vegetables. Grow your own food. Hit these local farms. Get your seeds. Try, do that, because these stores, they're empty. The inflation, the prices are going crazy, and again, so they're gonna price us out of having, they're gonna price us into homelessness, pretty much. So you gotta be able to grow your own food and stuff. So you ain't gotta worry about these stores running out of food or putting, cages around steaks. You got your own steak in the backyard. And when faced with the choice between going to that place or going home without fresh sweet corn, my mother grudgingly chose that place. Well, you grow your own food, you gotta worry about it. My mother felt torn between actively ignoring the woman and speculating that she wouldn't even recognize my mother anyhow. I remember as a kid, I don't know what happened, but this dude, I was a new kid in school, this dude ran up on me. I was probably like 3rd grade. And I remember it was like, what's up with something? I said, who? You know what I'm saying? He pushed me. I'm like, what? I said, 3rd grade, understanding, like a whole swarm of the school came like surrounded us. And we didn't fight or nothing like that, because like I said, 2nd, 3rd grade? I wouldn't even think about that. Like I said, just came out the blue or whatever. But anyway, like I said, he was, I couldn't understand. Never seen the guy, didn't know who he was. Went to school, and that was that, 3rd grade. Fast forward 4 years later, we're standing at the front of that same school, waiting on the bus. Well, I was going to one school, he was going to another. We waiting on buses. And it was just us two. It just be us two sitting there. And we was, so we talked, we just talked to what school you go to, blah, blah. We knew each other, we talking, and it's at 3rd. So then one day I just brought up, I said, man, you been back in 3rd grade? He's like, yeah, I remember that. He said, man, what was that base? I'm like, what was the base? Man, I don't even remember. I said, man, I can't even remember what it was at 3rd. And that was it. And we just kept, and we was cool. I didn't say we just became best friends and like that, but we could talk and be cordial. That was it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing, like I said, it wasn't nothing we just finna, throw down and fight, because, could have easily happened. Like, man, we could be like, hey, man, you want to finish this off, you know what I'm saying? We could just throw down, but no, it was, don't remember what it was. It was some kid, child, or stupid, and we just moved on, just, like I say, maturing. Let's see. My mother felt torn between actively ignoring the woman, and speculating that she wouldn't even recognize my mother anyhow. After all, it had been many decades since they had both vied for the same man's attention. It may have been close to half a century earlier. As it turned out, my mother may not have forgotten, but neither did her rival. Now, why y'all call each other rivals? This is 50 years ago. Like I said, something like you kind of stirring the pot as a child. She cornered my mother. See how the story goes? She cornered my mother among the locally grown fruits and vegetables. Then she struck up a conversation that was strained and falsely friendly. Eventually, talk turned to their former belle. Quote, did you marry him? The woman asked my mother. The glint in her eye said she already knew the answer. The sparkle, basically pretty much they were fighting over the same dude. Come to find out he was cheating on them all. They probably broke up with him. And, mad at each other, because come on now. You know how y'all do. Get mad at the wrong person. You want to fight. I remember being in a situation in high school where I come to find out it was like 2 girls about to fight over this dude. The dude didn't even know what was going on. And the assistant principal told these girls, hey, y'all sitting here looking like fools fighting this boy. He ain't worried about y'all, which is true. At the time, it was like, to me, when I started, I laughed. It was like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, really? It's crazy. But we always had a good laugh out of it. The sparkle in my mother's eye, stronger. No, she replied. I didn't marry him, but you didn't either. Boy, I swear, 50 years, these women still petty. My mother spun on her heel and walked toward the parking lot with her head held high, and I followed her. We both tried not to laugh before we reached the car, and we both failed. Can you believe she had the nerve to ask me that question my mother asked me? For my mother, it was the smallest taste of revenge against a woman who had shared some of the affection she believed she had been hers alone. And she still laughs about it. So 10 years later, you still laugh about something that you did based on something that happened 50 years later. Ladies, please help me explain. Why is this even an issue? 50 years, y'all pretty much damn near dead. You know what I'm saying? And probably wearing the pins and got arthritis. And y'all still worrying about, and the way the daughter talks, it's like the mama might have been, both of the mama and the woman might have been ready to scrap about a dude who has moved on and still married to this day. So undoubtedly, y'all are still following this dude. Oh, y'all, is your mom and this lady's following this guy? Are they hoping that this man, maybe wife dies or he gets a divorce so that maybe they can jump on him? Because probably they don't have a husband, I would assume. So they're waiting on, so, well, hell, well, you did say she was married to your dad. Wait a minute. She's married to your dad. I don't know if the dad's still living or not, but man, they still, dude, I'm at a lost words. I really am. I guess my point of bringing story, this is pure petty at its finest. That 50 years later, 60 years later now, because they say they still laugh about it, you still worrying about a guy who probably ain't given two thoughts about you since back then, because he done moved on and doing his thing. But you two still want to hold animosity toward each other. Now, the story didn't say, did the woman know that your mom was dating this guy and then she just, crept in? Or did the lady dating the guy and your mom crept in? Because we're not getting the whole facts. But either way, I'm talking about something that happened like 60 years ago, man. Some people just don't grow up. Some people just don't get over it. And I'm quite sure there's gonna be some comments on here, and then she'll probably reply with some kind of, inspirational message. Some people can express some message that ain't gonna make a bit of sense to the story. But anyway, tell me what y'all think, man. Tell me what y'all got out of this. Like I said, I got out of people don't grow up, people stay petty, and these are women, so I'm just gonna say it like that. And I wanna know, again, make it make sense to me. Because as a man, that would kind of feel kind of bad that if I was married to you, that you were still having feelings and animosity, feelings for this guy and animosity toward any woman or girl at the time that was involved with the person that you thought was going to be your man. And so, but you got married. You had kids, so your life should be happy. So why even worry about that? About to say, and the other woman, why in the world would she even bring it up? If somebody would ask me, hey, dude, did you ever marry so and so? I'd be like, nah, I didn't. Or like, so did you? I would ask a question. I wouldn't have been like, nah, and you didn't either. Anyway, man, let me get out of here, man. Hey, leave your comments below. Tell me what you think about this story. Again, hey, if you want to support the channel, you can always donate, or I said go to the description box below, hit the website, so purchase some merchandise. Or it can be like, if you want, be like fair exchange with some products. And you get product and you get these videos. Hey, if you want to start a YouTube channel, click on that TubeBuddy link, sign up. TubeBuddy is a great way to start off to get you those hot topics and those keywords and hashtags where you can increase that viewership. That's the point of it all, to get the word out to as many people as possible. Hey, with that being said, Growth Network is out. Peace.